Hello bankers, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. So welcome to JAIIB CAIIB Prep. I hope you guys are doing well with your exam preparation. So guys, from today onwards, we are going to start with our module C, right? So AFM module C, which is all about your financial management. Take a very interesting one, or one of the most interesting module from your AFM subject, right? So, financial management and the maximum your numericals and case studies will see basically will be based on this particular unit, right? So, all the four modules they have equal weightage, but when it comes to case studies or numericals and all, again, so this module have the maximum weightage, right? So, in this particular session, we will be discussing the PYQs as well as unit-wise discussion, their weightage or the important areas, right? So one of the most important session for every module, right? So first we do the introduction part, and that is something which will give you an idea about the entire module, right? So let's start the discussion. So when it comes to module C, which include these many units. So first we have an overview of financial management, and if you will skip this particular one, there is no loss, because whatever content is given in this particular one, that will get covered through the remaining units, right? The second one is ratio analysis. So ratio analysis, then we have financial mathematics, interest and annuities, then we have bond and YTM, forex market, we have capital structure and cost of capital, capital investment decisions, we have lease finance, we have working capital and derivatives. So when it comes to the weightage or the type of questions you guys are going to face based on these particular unit, so basically there will be one or two half marks question based on this. When it comes to your ratio analysis, for sure there will be numericals most of the time, and can be one applied questions also. Okay? So numerical plus applied questions, mostly it is around the numericals. They'll ask you to calculate the different type of ratios which are given in your curriculum itself, right? First one. The second one is interest in annuities. So here again we have numerical plus concept related questions. Okay. Numericals, like one question which get repeated every time to calculate your basically they generally ask you to calculate the simple interest and compound interest. Another question is around, sometimes they ask around the annuities calculations. Okay, so different type of annuities and their calculations, and sometimes rule of 72 and other also. Okay, present value, future values and others, they all are the calculation part of this one. Okay. Sometimes they also ask the applied questions like what is annuity or ordinary annuity and others, their features and all that also get asked. Then next topic is आपका financial mathematics, YTM. So when it comes to bonds features, and mostly again I'll say you will get to you can expect numericals based on this one. Again, the numerical is most of the time, 90% time one question is around calculation of current yield, or sometimes they also ask you to calculate YTM of a bond, yield to maturity. So that is the one. So numerically it is again very important one. Then we have forex markets, mostly applied questions from this particular one, concept driven. Then we have capital structure and cost of capital. Again, you will see the question आपका based on numericals plus concepts. So when it comes to, mostly it is आपका concept driven questions. Concept driven, like the different capital structures, like how we decide the capital structure, the theories like net income theory of David Durant's, or traditional theory, or that irrelevant theory आपका, ठीक है? So that is generally part of this one. And one question for sure in the form of numerical, which is around the calculation of weighted average cost of capital or cost of equity and cost of debt. Every time this get asked, okay? So you have to be very careful around this one also. Then next one आपका capital investment decision. One question for 2 marks, which is based on the NPV calculations. Okay. So NPV is one of the most important topic from this particular one. Basically your numerical will be based on NPV, and we have payback and IRR methods also for the project appraisals, they also get asked sometime. But most of the time when we do the project appraisals, we use NPV method, so that's why it is very important, right? Or their fundamental aspect also. Then next one आपका equipment leasing and lease finance. So you have to follow the accounting standard 19, and as per this particular one, we have two major type of lease. One is आपका operating lease, another one is finance lease. And most of the time your question is around the differences between these two, right? Then working capital, there was one numericals last year also, team, or one question for 1 marks or two question for half marks. Derivatives आपका again very important one, team. So you will get at least two questions based on derivatives, and this is a topic which will help you in other subject also, especially in I and IFS. So derivatives, which is something from where you'll get the differences between OTC versus exchange traded derivatives. Sometimes they'll ask you question, which of the following is incorrect about the features of exchange traded derivatives and all. They are generally part of this one. Okay? So now this is the entire module. One good thing about this particular module is you have to work on core concept. Okay? And once you are okay with or good with those particular concept, believe me guys, this will be the most scoring module from your AFM examinations. Okay? So हर एक, like from the every topic we have some core concepts. We just have to work on those particular one, and I'll make sure that you'll get those particular things in detail, so you guys can build your concepts and all. The other benefit associated with module C is once you'll come to the CAIIB examination, so these all topic are part of your ABFM examinations, okay? So that they'll help you in that particular paper also, right? So we have to be very careful while we go through these particular one. All right, guys. So now we'll do the unit-wise introduction. So I have skipped that 19 one. Reason being that is just an overview of the financial management. Okay. So first one, we have a ratio analysis. So when it comes to ratio analysis, okay, classification of ratios, very important. Okay. Then आपका accounting ratios, limitations. This get asked so many times, even in this year examination also. Calculation and interpretation of various ratios, okay, different users. So these are the major subtopic under this one. So now what type of questions you guys can expect here? Mostly numericals in the form. Okay? So like every time or in maximum time, say 70 to 80% time, we get two ratios or two numerical question based on one for 2 marks, or sometimes it is for 3 marks, where they are like they can provide you one case study also, okay, a balance sheet of a company. Then based on that, they're asking you to calculate the different ratios and all. So we'll well prepare for that one. So now, like if the company profit is 1,20,000 and the sale is 6 lakh, what is the net profit margin? So now while you study these particular things, this is something where you have to have study these particular ratios, and you have to remember those particular. I'll not suggest any sort of rectification, but how you can memorize those one with practice. Okay? I'll share a formula sheet. Just keep that particular one handy. So with that one, you will be able to solve these one. Okay? So when it comes to net profit margin, it is part of the profitability ratio under the functional classification of ratios. Okay? And how we calculate net profit margin or ratio, it is equal to your net profit divided by sales, into 100. So now you know the answer. So your net profit is how much? 1.20 lakh, and a sale is 6 lakh into 100. So it is आपका 2. So 2 and 100, so it is 2%, 20%. So what will be your correct answer for this one? 20% will be right answer for this particular one. Okay? So sometime what they'll do, they'll ask with the same question, they'll give you one case kind of. Then they'll ask you to calculate gross profit margin, आपका operating profit margin, and net profit margin. And this also get asked in your PPB also. Okay? 100% you will see one question in your upcoming JAIIB examination from this out of these three, either in PPB. The probability to ask the profitability ratio is higher in PPB, because your unit 4, sorry, not PPB, it is RBWM. In RBWM unit 4, which is branch profitability. So that is something around this particular one. Apart from this, we have ROA, return on assets, and return on investment. That is also part of that one. Okay? So completely formula driven, like gross profit divided by sales into 100. When it comes to operating profit divided by sales into 100. Okay. So now the next one, net profit divided by sales into 100. Okay. So now the game is, you have to, like, sometime they'll give you a case study, then first you have to calculate the gross profit. How we calculate gross profit? This we have understood in previous module itself. Okay. So gross profit is equal to net sales minus cost of goods sold. So based on that given data, first they might ask you to calculate net profit as well as gross profit margin, or net profit margin, in these kind of questions also. I hope you're getting my point again. So this is the first one another question again. Sometime interpretation based question will be there again. So ABC companies, this is the balance sheet again. So there are some figures from the balance sheet. Current assets आपका 5 lakhs, current liabilities आपका 2 lakhs, and inventory आपका 1 lakh. ठीक है. So based on this particular one, what you have to calculate? Current ratio. ठीक है. So you have to calculate the current ratio. Okay, it should be आपका, there is some mistake in this question. It should be आपका quick ratio. ठीक है. Because see, why I'm telling you this particular one. ठीक है. If I can see the options, so it is around the the question is around the quick ratio. ठीक है. It is, please do correct this one. ठीक है. Quick ratio. ठीक है. So why it is आपका, why I'm telling you, no, it is, there is some overall आपका issues with this particular one. No worries. ठीक है. I'll tell you the answer. ठीक है. So how we calculate current ratio? So your current ratio is equal to current asset divided by current liabilities. Now current assets आपका, ठीक है, in this particular case current asset is आपका that is so current ratio is equal to, okay, just avoid this numbers, this is just for the creating a confusion. 5 lakh divided by 2 lakh, so it is 2.5 is to 1. ठीक है. Sorry, 2.5 is to 1 is your current ratio. ठीक है. If it is quick ratio, you have to minus this particular one. If they have already given current assets, that means this is part of this one. Okay? So inventory or stock is part of current asset, but it is not part of the quick asset, right? So first one is आपका 2.5. The other question is, additionally, what would be the effect if new shares, issuing new shares on the current issues? Okay, let's say during that particular period, company issue shares worth rupees, let's say 5 crores. So initially it will increase the cash, it will increase the cash components of the organization. So it will, if cash component will increase, earlier it was 5 lakh, now it become 5 crores 5 lakhs, right? So that means your current ratio will improve or increase. Okay? So 2.5 or improvement in current ratio will be right answer for this particular question. So this kind of interpretation also sometime they'll ask in your examination. Next one, guys. Next question is around the आपका interest and annuities. From this one, there are so many things which are generally part of this, like simple interest, and you guys have expertise in this one. Simple interest, compound interest, fixed and floating rate of interest, front end and back end interest rate calculations. Front end is basically where we are making payments at the initial, and back end आपका at the end of the period. Let's say there is a person who invested 5 lakh rupees in a FD. If the interest rate is front end, that means at the time of deposit we start calculating this. Or the back end is like, that is, front end is kind of a rent agreement. So back end is kind of a deposit. After 1 year completion, we have to make the payments and all. Then we have annuities आपका, calculating future value, ordinary annuity, present value, ordinary. Then we have future value of annuity due and annuity present value of this one. Repayment of debt आपका. So these are the topics which in. So see, you can have two type of strategies. Either one, you have to go through all the concepts. First, like the simple interest, compound interest, annuities and others. The other case is like if you want to save your time. So what you can do, see, simple interest, compound interest we already know. This is the part. 100% one question will be there. A recent examination, there was a question to calculate the simple interest and one question around the compound interest. In previous session, there was one questions, and they have asked you to calculate the simple and compound interest and their differences. Okay? So that is the one. So again, simply. So one question for sure you will get from this particular one. Another question will be based on annuity calculation. When it comes to annuity calculations, it take time. Okay? For sure that question will be for 2 marks. If it is आपका fundamental or theoretical aspect, easy to understand or solve. But when it comes to calculations, it will take bit time. Okay? So, or even for your understanding also. So you can stick to this, or else like if you have time, you can go through the entire things. Okay? So a company take a loan, rupees 50,000, rupees 50,000, and at our 12% of simple interest, again, for 3 years. So what is the total repayments? Okay? So it is how we calculate आपका P into R into T. So what is the outcome of this one? Principal is 50,000, R is 12%, 0.12, T is आपका 3. So it is equal to what? And one another thing. So this is a 12 digit calculator, and this is allowed in your examination. Okay? Though like in case of when it comes to your JAIB, you'll hardly require this particular one. But sometime it is like if you want to use this particular one, so you can go for this particular one. Okay? So 18,000. So interest payable is 18,000. Now the initial principal. So what we total out repayment. So it is 50,000 plus 18,000. So it is your aapka 68,000. So do we have 68,000? Yes. Option B will be right answer for this particular one, right? Chalo. Next one, guys. Third one is aapka YTM. This topic is very, very important because see, you will also see the questions based on this particular one in your CAIIB examination also. And so I'll personally recommend you should spend a good time on this one to build your concepts and all. So that will help you a lot. So that आपका introduction of bonds. Then we have instruments, term associated with bonds. Then we have type of bonds, optionality in bonds, callable, puttable bonds, valuation of bonds. We have bond with semi-annual interest rate, where interest is payable in every 6 months. Usually in every bonds, they are similar type of features. Current yield and yield to maturity. These two subtopics, every time you will see, or one numerical will be based on this for 1 marks or 2 marks. Theorems of bonds are also very important. They are also part of your IN IFS module D. Very important one. Duration of bonds, properties of bonds, and bond price volatility. We have problem and solutions. One another subtopic is properties. Theorem, properties, and आपका current yield and yield to maturity. If you'll go through the last 3 years papers, maximum time the question, 90% time question will be around this particular one, right? So there is one numerical also, okay? And with this only, there is a high probability you will get the same question in your upcoming examination. So a bond with face value of 1,000 and coupon rate of 7%. Coupon rate is basically interest rate. Okay? Currently trading at 920 rupees. So what is the what they ask you to calculate the current yield? So how we calculate current yield? So current yield is equal to annual coupon. It is आपका annual coupon divide by current market prices into 100. So if it is in percentage, yes. So annual coupon in this particular case, there is a company who issue bonds at a face value, which is book value, or the which is stated on the face of this bond, which is 1,000, and they promise a return of 7% on this particular bonds, right? So 7% of 1,000 is equal to, so annual coupon is equal to 70 rupees. So now your 70 divided by 920. 70 divided by 920 into 100. So what will be the figure? Sorry. So 7.60, okay, 7.6086. So 7.60. So that means if we go for the round figures and all, it should become around this particular. Okay? It is coming 7.6068 something. So that's why 7.61. So option B will be right answer for this particular one. Previous questions. Okay? Next one another question. A bond 10% coupon rate, face value is 5,000. Currently are trading at 5,500. What is bond's current yield? So I hope you will be able to solve this one. So current yield is equal to your annual coupon. So it is आपका it is how much? आपका 10% of 5,000, which is 500. ठीक है, 500 divide by how much? 5,500. The current market price into 100. So what will be your correct answer? So what will be, at the end, the interpretation of this one is very important. When bond is in premium or in discount, we'll be discussing this particular one in detail. So it is so it is आपका 9.09. So 9.0990. So option B. ठीक है, it is coming आपका 9.09 9.0990. ठीक है, so it is coming somewhere this. ठीक है, so option B will be right answer for this particular one. Sometime they can ask you half marks or 1 marks question around the bond theorems and others also, or some terminologies like this. So bond that give issuer the right to repay, before the maturity. So this question is based on the optionality in bonds. Okay? So when it comes to options or optionality in bonds, okay? So we have two type of option. One is callable bonds, another one is putable bonds. Okay? When it comes to callable bonds, okay, they give right to issuer. Okay? Right to issuer means a company, and when it comes to putable bonds, they give right to investors. Okay? So what is the right? So callable bonds which give right to issuer to buy back those particular bonds from the investors. When it comes to putable bonds, that generally give right to investors to force issuers to liquidate those particular bonds, or and to pay their money back, right? So that is the case. So this is like with one word only you will be able to answer. Okay? So right to issuer, that means it is a callable bonds. If it is right to investor, it is आपका putable bonds, right? चलो next one guys. Next unit number 23. So it is about the forex. ठीक है, so forex आपका, ठीक है, when it comes to forex arithmetic, it is just for a name, ठीक है, because like there are few things when it comes to arithmetics. We have cross rate calculation and forward rate calculations, ठीक है, and we will be discussing in detail, so you guys can build your base for the CAIIB BFM paper also, right? So fundamentals of foreign exchange, Indian forex market, direct and indirect quotations, some arithmetics like cross rate calculation, chain rule, value date. This is the arithmetic as per their very basic concept. Again, forward rate आपका, forward rate points, arbitrage, calculating forward points, and premium and discount. So these are the areas which are generally part of this particular unit. Again, so question like आपका, which of the following statement regarding exchange rate and value date is correct? So you have to find out the correct statements. Okay? So we have to find out the correct statement. Okay? So cash or ready rate is used when exchange of currencies take place on the date of deal. 100% true. Okay? I'll explain this here. Okay? Then we have term T+1 or tomorrow. Rate refer to the exchange of currency that occur after 2 working days. Okay? 2 working days, it is called आपका spot, not term. So this statement is wrong. A currency at premium is cheaper for future value dates in forward market. So a currency at a premium is cheaper for future value date in the forward market. No, this is, it should be आपका, ठीक है, cheaper is a case of discount, not in the case of आपका this. ठीक है, so only one should be right answer for this one. ठीक है, option C should be right answer for this one, right? So now when it comes to value date, ठीक है, so see this forex market that remain open 24/7, like currency pair like INR, USD, INR, it get traded round the clock, means 24/7. See what happened sometime. There is a, like we do have time zone horizon. In India we have a market opening time 10 a.m. and आपका closing is 5 p.m. But in some other countries it get traded after 5 p.m. also, right? So due to this time zone horizon differences, okay, there is a difference between date of trade and date of settlement, right? So that difference, so we can, with this particular difference, we can have two type of trade in forex. One is spot, another one is your that is called forward. Okay, so basically, let's say if your date of trade is suppose that 1st of August 2025. Okay, this is date of trade. And date of settlement means where parties, they are fulfilling their obligations. Okay, buyer is making the payment and getting the security, seller is receiving the payments and pass on, basically transferring the ownership of currency to the buyer itself. Okay, that is at the same time, that is called settlement. Okay, so now if this settlement took place on same day, means 1st August. Okay, so it is called आपका T plus 0, it is called cash. When it comes to, let's say, आपका if it settlement took place on 2nd August, it is called T plus 1, 1 is working day, and it is called term. And when settlement took place on 3rd, it is called T plus 2, and it is your आपका spot. The transaction is generally known as spot. Now when settlement took place any date after spot date, what I said, when settlement took place any date after the spot date. Let's say your spot date is 3rd of August. Okay? So now assuming there is no holiday. Okay? So let's say your settlement took place on 15th of October 2025. So this trade is generally known as forward. Okay? So it is called आपका forward. So this is the one. This is your आपका value date system. The another one is आपका, ठीक है, the currencies premium and others. This we'll discuss with the next question. There is one similar question. ठीक है. So incorrect because the currency at premium is costlier than this. ठीक है. That the meaning of this one is something. Let's say I'll give you an example. ठीक है. Suppose that the spot rate, suppose that USD INR, ठीक है, USD INR, and the spot rate is 82.5060. ठीक है, let's assume कि this is the आपका the current direct quotation in the market, which is 82.5060, means for $1 you need to pay this much of INR. Now first you have to understand the buy rate and sell rate in this particular one. So when it comes to आपका this quotation, so buy rate is, this is your buy rate, buyer always want to buy at lower price, and this is your sell rate. Again, seller always want to sell at higher price, means buy rate is आपका 82.50 and seller want to sell it at 82.60. Okay, this is the quotation. Okay, so now this is the spot rate. अब suppose that same thing आपका this USD INR's 3 months contract. Again, 3 months contract, we are talking about the derivatives. So in market 3-month contract, the prices is suppose that 3.2030. Okay, this is the market, this is the forward price or future price of this particular one. Okay, that means your buy rate is आपका 83.20 and sell rate is आपका 83.30. And this is to be like, this is called a case of premium. Okay? It is a case of premium. Premium is means when your forward rate is greater than your spot rate. Okay? That is a situation of premium. Forward rate is higher than premium. This is your spot rate, which is 82.50, and your future rate is 83.20. Your sell rate आपका 82.60 and it is 83.30. Okay, this is the situation of premium. Now when it can be in discount, there is a situation of discount also. Okay, so when it comes to discount, it is, let's say, when it comes to discount, it is your forward rate is less than your spot rate. Let's say the USD INR rate is in market is 81.5060. That means buyer want to buy at 81.50 and seller want to sell it at 81.60. Okay, so this is a situation of premium and please do discount, and in every case, whether it is a case of premium or it is a case of discount, the premium or the discount will deducted from both rate, आपका buying rate as well as आपका selling rate. So that is the one, very simple one. ठीक है. So this was the third statement. So statement was a currency at premium is cheaper. No, it is costlier when it comes to this. Just we discussed this particular one. ठीक है. A currency cheaper in forward or future value date means that currency is in discount. It is said to be discount. In case of direct quotation, the discount is deducted from. So what will be your correct answer? From both buying rate as well as selling rate. So C will be correct answer for this particular question. Correct here. Let's move to the next topic, guys. Next one is आपका capital structure. So when it comes to capital structure, now we'll enter into the concepts of capital budgetings and all. Okay. So every company, while they plan their expansion, okay, let's say you are running a business. Now you want to expand your business throughout the country. So for that sake, obviously you will be requiring some funds. That fund is capital budget. Okay. Capital means we are making long-term investments in our business. Okay. Let's say we plan to raise 100 crore rupees from the market. Okay? Let's say we require 100 crore rupees to fund our business. Okay? Now, how you guys are going to raise that 100 crore rupees, right? So let's say we make a plan कि the equity is to debt is आपका suppose that it is 30 is to 70 ratio. That means out of 100 crore rupees, 30 crore will raise through the equity and remaining 70 crore will raise through the debt portion. Okay? So this ratio is generally known as your capital structure. Okay? This is your capital, your company's capital structure. Now, how we should define this, what is the optimal capital structure for our company, that we are going to discuss in this one. Okay? So like what should be the ratio, 30-70 or 50-50 or आपका 80-20. ठीक है. So for that sake we have theories like the most popular is net income theory, ठीक है, David Duran, which generally suggests कि your debt portion should be higher compared to your equity, and they have given some arguments for that particular one and that get applied in every business. ठीक है, that's why that is very important, right? So theories and approaches of capital structure very important. ठीक है. Factor influencing decision of capital structure, again internal and external factors. Cost of capital, taxation, cost of debt, आपका preference capital, equity capital, weighted average cost of capital. Every time this get asked, factor affecting weighted average cost of capital, weighted margin cost of capital, optimal capital budget, flotation cost, and misconception about the cost of capital. So these are some areas or subtopic which is generally part of this one. So the most asked question is, one is around the theory or the taxes, the impact of taxes on the capital investment decisions, okay, and weighted average cost of capital. So let's solve this particular question, guys. So the weighted average cost of capital is a calculation of this. Thing. A company has a cost of equity is 10%, cost of debt is 6%, and the company debt to equity ratio is 0.5. That means if they have raised 100 crore rupees, so what is their debt to equity ratio? आपका 50-50, 50% through equity and 50% through a debt. आपका that is the interpretation of this particular one. Now when we calculate this particular one, how you calculate this one? So weighted average cost of capital is equal to cost of equity into portion of equity. ठीक है, cost of equity into portion of equity. ठीक है, and into sorry plus sorry. ठीक है, just a minute. Cost of equity into portion of equity plus cost of debt into portion of debt. Okay? Portion of debt. Now you know your answers. Okay? What is your answer in this case? See, cost of equity is how much? आपका 10% into 0.5. plus आपका cost of debt is 6% into 0.5. So it is your आपका this become 5 and this become 3. So 8% is the answer for this particular question. So D will be the right answer for this one. Now one question, if they ask this question, it is for 1 mark. ठीक है. Now in the same question they'll make some add-ons. ठीक है. कि this is the situation later on or after 1 year company is planning to change their capital structure. ठीक है. Let's say the current this is your current capital structure. Now company after 1 year company is planning to change the capital structure to आपका 30:70. So how it will change or make an impact on weighted average cost of capital? So what will be your correct answer? Your weighted average cost of capital will come down. Come down. Why it is coming down? That means it will be less than 8%. Reason being because the cost of debt is lower and it always lower than cost of equity. Okay? So if your cost of debt is at lower, so if you decrease this particular one, obviously this will make an आपका this the weighted average cost of capital will also come down. Okay? Now it is like your 10 into 0.3 plus आपका it is your 6 into 0.70. So if you'll calculate this particular one, obviously it will be less than that. Okay? That is the one. So sometimes they also ask these kind of questions also. Okay? With the same question for the interpretation purpose. Okay? Next one, guys, capital investment decision. Very interesting one. It is something about, let's say now you have that, you have arranged that 100 crore rupees. Okay? So we are going through that particular one. Now we have 100 crore rupees in our hand. Capital structure is, let's assume ki aapka 50-50 or whatever it is. Okay? So we have arranged 100 crore rupees. Now if you have 100 crore rupees, you have multiple options available. Okay? So let's say we have these options available in the market. Okay? So where we can invest our money. Now the question is, out of these three, which project we should opt? If it is like similar set key to manufacture this marker, we have three ways, three alternates, or we have three options where we can make investments, right? So then we will apply the capital investment decisions. Okay? We'll make capital investment decision by using the most popular is NPV, net present value method. If your NPV is equal to 0, then you'll apply IRR method again. And you can also go with the payback period. But mostly we go with this one. There are so many reasons why we always opt NPV model. Okay? And that is very, very important for all of us, right? So when it comes to just a minute, sorry. So when it comes to your NPV method, okay, so discounted cash flow method for investment appraisal, non-discounted cash flow method for investments. Okay. So discounted and non-discounted. When it comes to discounted NPV and non-discounted your IRR and payback period. Okay. So we have then we have term loans. Okay. The features of term loans or project appraisals and all. Okay. So that is the one. So this is something like this. Now this is bit calculation driven. Okay? So the idea of this question is, or like whenever it comes to the NPV things, what is the idea basically? Okay? So it work on the time value of money. We all know like today's rupees one is higher valued than the rupee one of 1 year later. Okay? This is 2025 and 2026 or 7, 8, 9 anything. Okay? So the value of rupees one is higher because during this period there will be inflation or the depositors will be losing the opportunity cost. Again, there are so many reasons for this one. So now what NPV methods tell us, basically it is ki, let's say we are making an investment in any project. Again, we are making an investment of rupees आपका 1 lakh rupees. ठीक है? So this is your initial outflow. You are investing 1 lakh rupees today. This is the present value of money. And with this आपका investment, what you are getting? Inflow expected to generate inflow 30,000 per month for next 5 years. For the next 5 years, you will be receiving 30,000 per year. That means आपका फर्स्ट ईयर इज आपका 30,000, सेकेंड ईयर आपका एट द एंड ऑफ सेकेंड ईयर 30,000, एट द एंड ऑफ थर्ड ईयर अगेन 30,000, एट द एंड ऑफ फोर्थ ईयर आपका 30,000, at the end of final year which is 30,000. So project is for 5 years and every year you are getting आपका 30,000. That means overall you are getting 1.50 lakh. So you have invested 1 lakh rupees but you are getting 1.50 lakh. But the problem is this is the future value of money. So what NPV method suggests, as a company, we should not make our decision based on this value. First, what we have to do? We have to calculate the present value of these are future inflows. Okay, future inflows. We have to calculate the present value of these all future inflows. How you will calculate this particular one? By using simple formula. Inflow divided by 1 plus R. R is आपका this required rate of return or discount rate, which is given here, that is 10%. Okay? So की power 1 or here it is 1, here it is 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you will get to know the actual figures. Okay? So let's say we solve this particular equation for first year. That means आपका inflow is 30,000 divided by 1 plus R, 0.12 की power 1. Okay? And let's assume this number is 27,000. Similarly, we calculated for second year. Second year आपका again 30,000, 1 plus R, 0.12 की power 2. Let's say the outcome is आपका 23,000. Third year आपका which is again 30,000 divide by 1.12 की power 3. Let's say we reach a number of, let's say 20,000. Here it is suppose that 18,000 and here it is suppose that आपका 15,000. ठीक है. So now this is something which is which we should consider, right? If the total of this, if the total, let's say the total of this minus total of this, whatever it is, आपका let's say assume x minus initial investment. Initial investment was how much? Rupees 1 lakh. If your NPV, now if the NPV, this is the NPV value. So this, so let's calculate these particular one. Let's calculate these one. So it is आपका 27 plus 23 plus 20 plus 18 plus 15. So it is 103. 103 means आपका it is sorry, it is आपका 1,03,000. ठीक है. So 1.3 lakh. ठीक है. So 1,03,000. So that means our NPV is आपका 3,000. So NPV, now how we make decision? There are two things आपका or three things you can say. ठीक है. So when your NPV is greater than 0, accept the project. Okay. When your NPV is in positive, greater than 0 means it is positive, accept the project. Okay. Like in this case, you can go with this particular project because outflow is positive. When your NPV net present value is 0, you should apply आपका IRR. ठीक है. IRR, internal rate of returns. ठीक है. Then when NPV is 0, less than 0, simply reject that particular project. If this number, let's say assume that the number is it is 03, sorry, take 03. If the, let's assume if this number is 90,000 only, then simply saying it is in negative and you should not invest in this particular project. So that is the outcome of NPV, and that's why it get used so many times, right? So for this calculation also, so similarly we have done the calculation here also. It is आपका inflow, the formula is inflow 1 plus R. ठीक है. Inflow की power n. ठीक है. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we get these particular numbers, and based on after adding all these number we reach आपका 1,13,722 minus 1 lakh the initial value. ठीक है. So 13,722. So that means NPV is positive. So we should accept this particular project. Okay? These kind of things. Next one. Lease and lease finance. Okay? So this topic will also get repeated in IN and IFS module D. important one. You'll get one question in AFM also. Mostly on an average 1 to 2 marks question based on this. Okay? The operating aspect or the accounting aspect of lease. Okay? So as per accounting purpose, we have two type of lease. One is operating, another one is financing. Operating is short term lease, financing is long term lease, right? Apart from that also we have other type of lease, but when it comes to INIFS, lease and hire purchase, there is one an additional topic also, that is called hire purchase, right? So which of the following is true regarding the financial lease compared to operating lease? So a finance आपका half marks question, a finance lease is generally cancelable. No, it finance lease is long term or it is non cancelable. The lessee means who take that particular asset on lease and paying the rent. ठीक है, lessee आपका, let's say you are living on a rent of any XYZ person. ठीक है, so you are lessee and that owner of that building is lessor, right? So the lessee is responsible for maintenance and insurance in finance lease. 100% true, because it is long term lease आपका, ठीक है? Finance lease B only will be right answer for this particular one, correct? We'll be discussing all these, no worries. Next one, working capital. So working capital is current asset minus current liabilities, net working capital, ठीक है? So a ratio in between 1.2 to 6. Sources, majorly the question is around last year there was a question around the calculation of net working capital. Apart from this, there is sources आपका, हाँ, sources to of finance of current assets और आपका working capital, that is something which is very important. And आपका working capital assessment by bank or the methods which are important, right? So a company has following information: current asset 2 lakh and current liabilities 1.2 lakhs. ठीक है? So what is the working capital? So working capital ratio. So how you calculate working capital ratio? It is equal to current ratio. So it is आपका current asset divided by current liabilities, first of all. And what does it indicate about the financial health? Financial health is basically we have as per the banks and others. ठीक है? So it is how much it will be आपका point it is आपका 2 divided by 1.2, so it is in between. हाँ, so they have a ideal working conditions or healthy ideal working condition 1.67. yes, हाँ, so ideal working conditions, so C will be right answer for this one. Sorry, so it is आपका ideal working conditions and all. That is आपका, this is like moderate, healthy, ideals, high risk आपका, these are given in that particular situation. Why it is called ideal? The company's runway is required runway is how much? 1,20,000, or whatever this number is. Basically their liabilities, their bills payables or the salary, rent, everything's that is they require for an entire year or the period or year is 1.20 lakh. Okay? And they have this much of money in their hand. That means they can easily run that business for 1.67 years. Okay? So they have enough cash in them. And sometimes like it is not only about the cash. Like, let's say company A whose working capital ratio is supposed at 0.50, that means they are in risk. Company B whose working capital is supposed that the ratio is आपका 1.5 is to 1, and C आपका it is having 10. So now if I ask कि this is in danger, clear cut, because they have runway, they have left money for next 6-month business operation only. This is आपका perfectly managed. This is also wrong. Why the last one is wrong? Because there is no better utilization of funds. So they can keep only 2 crore rupees in their hand, or two for one liability they can have 2 rupees in their hand. Why they are holding that 8 rupees? They can invest that particular one, so they can generate some sort of profit for the organization. So those kind of decision making which is generally part of this. Okay? Which financing option is best suited for a company with highly fluctuating short-term capital needs and require flexibility in repayment? So overdraft arrangement will be the best in this particular case. Okay? So as per the requirement, they can draw the money, or once they'll draw, then only their obligation will be there, and they need to pay the interest in others. Okay? Next one, the final unit, which is आपका derivatives, again very important one. So financial derivatives. So derivative market, derivative market, again, regulations, types of derivative, especially that swaps portion, that is very important. Again, important derivative product in India, uses of credit derivatives for risk management, very important one, right? So identify which of the following statement regarding derivatives are correct. So first, a derivative whose value is derived from underlying asset like stock, bonds, commodity. A derivative is a financial instruments whose value is derived from or dependent upon an underlying asset. The underlying asset could be this. I hope you have gone through this particular definition so many times. Okay. Derivative are settled immediately upon the purchase. No, they have a future date. Okay. So statement 2 is wrong. One key characteristic of derivative is they are often require little or no initial net investment 100% too. In case of little means in case of exchange traded derivatives, you need to pay the initial margin, which is like आपका around max to max 10%. It is usually 5%, 7% and all. Okay, that means if you want to own a portfolio of 1 crores in derivatives, by paying 5 lakh rupees only, you can own a portfolio of 5 crore, 1 crore rupees. That is the one. Okay? Even in case of OTC over the counter derivative, we do not have to pay any initial amount as well. Okay? Derivative are used only by bank. No, they can be they can have multiple users. Okay? 1 in 3. 1 in 3 means option A only will be right answer for this one. Next one. Which of the following differentiate exchange traded derivatives and OTC? This get asked so many times. Yeah. Exchange traded derivative allow customization of contract. No, they are standardized product. Yeah. Exchange traded derivative have higher liquidity and transparency compared to OTC. 100% true. The number of buyers, number of sellers, and others. So that is available here. And we have number of buyers, number of sellers. The transparency is also available, right? In case of OTC, we have only two parties, buyer and seller, and that is a kind of a private agreement. So B will be right answer for this one. Next one. Okay, so this is all about your module C. Okay, so these are the topics आपका, ठीक है. So I'll be taking like 2-3 days break for AFM from AFM. ठीक है. So I'm working on simultaneously some practice book also. So that's why I'm able to deliver one session in a day. Okay. So first, now like this entire week, I'll be delivering IE and IFS for sure. But for this AFM, I'll be delivering after 3-4 days. Okay, I'll be coming up. At least I'll first complete that module A of all the 4 subjects. So you guys, at least for these 2 subjects, sorry, AFM and IE and IFS. So you guys can take a printout and if you want to practice those particular one, so that will be helpful. All right, guys. So this is it. So again, that formula is similar and it will remain similar till your examination concept. And this is the one. Okay, this sequence which we are going to follow and not less, not more. Okay, whatever is required for the examination, please do believe in this process. Believe me, you guys are going to score very well in your upcoming examination. All right, guys. And if you guys having any doubts and any challenges, so you can connect me on WhatsApp or Telegram, or if it is urgent, you can call me also. So I'll try my best to help you out with those particular challenges also. All right, guys. So this is it from my side. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you for watching this session. Bye bye. Take care all. Have a nice day and wish you all the very best for your preparation, guys. Thank you.